The Slender Man is radioactive. This has been known for years, for like 8 years at least, but nobody ever talks about it. And Carmen was coming over to hang out again, and I kept thinking about what I said for her video when she asked me what it is and what it means to me. And I told her I'm on the outside of it. I only ever get the breadcrumbs of this, the downstream effects. I've never actually interacted with it. So I started making the top of this whiteboard, breaking down, at the very least categorically, what it is and what it isn't. And I settled on radioactive. And that turned into a rabbit hole when the severity of that fact really hit me. Because, I don't know if you guys know this, but radiation is the scariest thing available to us in physics right now. Sorry. This isn't going to be a funny video. I know it's another whiteboard video. This is 2 in a row. But I don't know if I'm going to edit this. Maybe faint ones to cut out the pauses. But yeah, I just really want to get this point across because I didn't end up fully explaining this to Carmen when she was here. So I want to tell everybody at the same time. So here it is. The Slender Man is radioactive, and that is a much bigger problem than any of us think. It's reportedly giving off a different kind of radiation than what is classically understood. The basic kinds of radiation are alpha rays, beta rays, gamma rays, X-rays, and neutron rays, and that is in ascending order of energy. Alpha rays can be stopped by paper, and that's just because they're high energy helium atoms. It's just one proton, one neutron. Beta rays are high energy electrons that can go through people, that can harm people. That's stopped by metal, that's stopped by aluminum. Gamma rays and X-rays are high energy electromagnetic radiation. That can definitely go through people, that can definitely go through metal, that gets stopped by lead. And neutron rays are free neutrons. That goes through everything except for a lot of concrete and a lot of water. But Kornthal labeled it sigma radiation, I think. I think that's where that name came from, which indicates that it's not any of those. So what does that mean? Every type of radiation here is a different kind of energy transfer. Radiation is just energy transfer. Heat is called infrared radiation. Humans give off infrared radiation, which sounds scary in and of itself until you just realize it's heat. That's the name for heat. And that is technically in the electromagnetic band. Heat is technically just a high frequency light. Same with ultraviolet, which is the thing that gives you a sunburn, right? It's just different energy levels of electromagnetic, and outside of that, it's different types of particles that are hitting you. So if there's a brand new name for it, and the entire electromagnetic radiation spectrum can be contained in between gamma rays and X-rays, and then everything else is a different particle type, what the fuck does that mean? There's another radiation type. Is it a new particle? Probably not a brand new one, but maybe a different one here. I'm noticing the only thing missing from this, we have proton-neutron pairs, we have high-energy electrons, we have free neutrons. We're missing the free proton type of radiation. So maybe that's it. But I thought the best way of classifying this was by going through all of the symptoms that we ever see from operator sickness and the like, and try to reverse engineer a radiation from that. So what we see from Kornthal, at the very least, is that this radiation can penetrate clothing. It can be detected in the first place by a device, right? So it exists in the physical world at the very least. We can detect I don't know how Geiger counters work. One of the scarier things is the fact that it's probably the result of isotope decay. And the reason I say that is because of Evan's blood. The fact that it is residual, the fact that it can enter your bloodstream and then continue to fission to the point where you can hold up a bloody rag of yours to a modified Geiger counter and it'll go off. Blood that is just coming out of you.
Just in case you think it's glitching up. It's not! Apparently my blood has fucking radiation in it or some shit.
That is super fucking scary. You can interpret that as interaction with the Slender Man, or Evan had that thing inside him, and then that was also producing that. Who's to say? All I know is that same Geiger counter that they were using went like crazy when they met the Slender Man. So if it's the same type of radiation that it's detecting, because I know Geiger counters only work in one mode at a time. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Anyway. Increased presence of carbon. That gives the game away, I think. I'm gonna roll with that as the linchpin in this theory. And because it is high energy enough to penetrate clothing, which means it is at least as hazardous as beta rays, that means it probably has a low half-life, because the decay rate and the energy level means how much energy is being cast off. The more energy being cast off, the less is staying behind. It's fissioning faster and harder, which means that the half-life, the time that it takes for it to turn halfway into something else, is lower. So we're looking at a low half-life carbon isotope, I think. And in case you're thinking, these are massive leaps in logic, why do you think the Slender Man is radioactive in the first place? Well, based on beyond just EMH videos, all symptoms of operator sickness are just known symptoms of radiation sickness. All of them. Everything that the Slender Man does physically can be directly referenced as radiation sickness or other radiation effects. The biggest thing we ever see from people who are infected is cold-like symptoms, cold and flu-like symptoms. So that's headache, coughing, lethargy. We see soft tissue hemorrhaging, coughing up blood, nosebleeds, bloodshot eyes. Doesn't that sound familiar? And then seizure symptoms, including convulsions, headaches, loss of memory, negative psychological effects. And every single one of those are known long and short-term effects of acute radiation sickness. This is all shit that people were experiencing at Chernobyl. It's not just that it feeds on our negative emotions. I was wrong. It's actively killing us. All of us that have ever interacted with it, that have been infected with its presence, and then it starts following you, it's microwaving you with its presence. So my guess, my educated guess, which could be wrong, it could be free protons, which would be crazy because they would have to be so energy intensive to not latch on to free neutrons or gather any electrons. Free protons just don't happen. So my guess is that it's carbon 16 or higher. And I say that because that seems to be a good trade-off of half-life and energy level. It gives off a combination of beta and neutron rays. And it is not naturally occurring. And decays into carbon, which can then be found in the victims, and in the clothes of the victims, and in the blood of the victims. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. When you record something that's radioactive on a digital camera, guess what happens? There's static. There's JPEG compression because of the high energy rays bombarding the photon sensor on the front of it. And if the energy rays are high enough, they flip bits inside your memory. Anytime we've ever seen the Slender Man causing static in your digital camera or corrupting the memory in your digital shit, it's because it's radioactive and it's bombarding your electronics. And electronics don't operate well under radiation. So, terrible news for your Super Mario 64 speedrun. How has this not been formally discovered? How are there not papers about this kind of radiation? How did we have an entire Cold War and blossoming nuclear era without ever hearing the term Sigma radiation before? Is there a massive global conspiracy? Who's to say? Was it discovered under another name? I don't know. I don't have the fucking time to dive through research papers. It seems like the scientific community is in agreement that this is what radiation is. And then even the most exotic shit in the universe, like white dwarfs and quasars, and the shit you find spewing out of the accretion disk in a black hole, it's only ever these, but in crazy high amounts. It's barely ever something brand new. And then another possibility is that this doesn't happen enough for there to have been any kind of scientific inquiry that doesn't immediately get absorbed into standard error bounds. Because how many of us affected are there? It's not a lot. It's maybe a couple hundred globally. And then even fewer are actually recording anything and showing people anything. The absolute takeaway, the thing that you can't ever escape with any kind of radiation, is the fact that you have a massively increased risk of cancer. Therefore, exposure to the Slender Man or anything like it must result in a drastically increased risk of cancer. So, why haven't we actually seen that in any of us? There's a few easy reasons. Very low sample size. Again, this is happening to very few people globally. The people that are recording and documenting it are fewer still, interspersed with no connection to each other except when we find each other. So that's not really a good foundation for a scientific analysis. And then there's the fact of all of the other shit that's happening to us. A lot of the times we're young, right? We're early teens to maybe mid-30s. And cancer from radiation, it's a time game. It's a stats game. It's a luck surface problem. What I mean by that is it increases the chance that you get cancer this year. And the more years you have, the more a dart is being thrown at a board. What radiation does is increase the size of your board. There's also the fact that we're often of limited means, as in we can't get attention or treatment, because nobody's going to believe us. And there's also the fact that we often die of other shit. We're killed outright by it, by a massive dose. Or we are stabbed to death by a friend that gets their mind taken over. Or we're trapped in a time loop for the rest of eternity, and we never actually get the chance to die. A billion other things can happen. This is the kind of shit that we're in, all of us, that the least of our concerns is the fact that we may be fatally dosed with radiation from this monster that just can teleport into your life at any time. And there's another one that I thought up that I didn't actually write down. That's the fact that it can heal us. It's been demonstrated to have that ability. Some of these things can heal you in real time. Including it, I think. I would have to go back and find the exact video, the exact event that shows that, but I'm pretty sure it heals you sometimes. Which is even scarier. Because then, yes, its motivation is absolutely 100% just our suffering. Just our pain. So yeah, Carmen, if you're watching, do you understand why I was being pushy about this? This is insane. Everybody needs to be aware of this. Everybody in the network needs to know. I'm gonna text this directly to Evangeline. And it's not lost on me that I've had one of these entities in my closet for 5 years. And I've been carrying it with me for 5 years. Dosing me, potentially, if it is radioactive, like every day for years. So I bought a Geiger counter, and I've been way too scared to turn it on because I don't want to know. And I kind of wanted Carmen there with me so we could turn it on together. But that didn't end up happening, so I'm gonna be brave on my own. Buy iodine tablets. Buy a Geiger counter to make sure. Start wearing lead-lined clothes. That's all I got for you.